Hi, this is Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us today for Live with Annie. As usual, we've started the stream a bit early. This helps us get everything set up and broadcasting properly to our various platforms. You can find a countdown clock on the screen showing how long it will be until we actually go live. While you wait, please connect with us and other viewers in the chat. Let us know where you are from and whether you're a new or longtime viewer. We'll see you live soon! Thanks again for joining us for Live with Annie. We are so happy to have you with us today. While you wait for the program to start, we hope you'll enjoy the content playing on screen. There's so much inspiration, so take a moment to tell us what you love in the chat. Don't forget there is a countdown clock on the screen so you know how long until we go live. Hi, it's Annie again, reminding you that we'll be going live with this week's episode shortly. There is a countdown clock on the screen showing how much time is left. You've got just enough time to grab some water or a beverage of your choice and a snack, and to connect with us in the chat. We'd love to hear what you've been working on this week. Again, it's Annie, back to remind you that we'll be starting this week's live very shortly. We've got a really fun episode planned for today, and we'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 31 of Season 3 of Live with Annie. Today we are featuring fabrics designed by Sue Penn. Sue is a mixed media artist and fabric designer for FreeSpirit Fabrics who loves color. She paints all the designs for her fabric, and we will share info about her techniques, plus a trunk show of some of the models we've made using Sue's designs. You are sure to enjoy learning how these amazing fabrics are created, so stay tuned. We are so happy to see all of you here with us today, and we want to say thank you for making the time to be with us. That always means a lot to all of us. If you enjoy these episodes, please take a minute to follow us wherever you are watching. And if you know someone else who you think might enjoy the information that we share, we'd love it if you'd tell them about Live with Annie. The easiest way to do that is to just tag them while you're watching. That will take them directly to the episode so they can watch it too. Also, we love reading your comments, so please be sure to interact with us throughout this presentation. Tell us what you think about what we're showing, and tell us what projects you're working on, and let us know what you think because we love learning from you too. Be sure to add any questions you might have in the comments or chat, and we will do our best to answer them before we close. So last week we wrapped up our series of episodes focused on ways to use patchwork in ByAnnie bags. We were joined by Susan of Studio 708, a wearables designer and maker with a knack for fussy cutting and combining fabulous fabrics for eye-catching results. Susan showed a number of ByAnnie bags that she embellished with some fabulous foundation piece borders and monograms. If you missed that or want to watch it again, remember that you can find all the previous 131 episodes of Live with Annie on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or at ByAnnie.com, and we'll put up all the links to make them easy for you to find. As I said, today we are featuring one of our favorite designers, Sue Penn. A designer for FreeSpirit fabrics, Sue has been creating art for bright, colorful fabrics for over 20 years. Sue says she grew up loving everything about art and creating. Her grandmother was her biggest cheerleader and paid for 6 years of drawing and painting classes. In her early 20s, Sue began her love affair with sewing, quilting, and all things fabric related. Sue enjoys designing from her extensive collection of vintage and antiques fabrics, but her hand-painted designs are her favorite, and ours too. Sue wasn't able to join us in person today, but she has graciously sent us a couple of her paintings and some videos that we'll share with you. And she's joining us in the chat on Facebook, so be sure to say hi to her and ask any questions that you might have. Thank you so much, Sue, for joining us online today. We're going to start with a video that explains how Sue got started as a FreeSpirit designer and describes her process a bit.
I've always loved to draw and paint. I took my first sewing class in 8th grade, where my brother actually got a better grade than I did, but that's another story. I didn't sew again till I was first married, and then I started doing craft shows to make a little bit of extra money, and I'd go to Quilt Market to sell my craft patterns. I was at Market one time, and I walked by a booth and stopped and looked at the fabric and said, "Oh, I like your fabric." And the gentleman standing there said, "We have 3 pattern people that design for us." And I said, "Well, I can do that." I had no idea if I could, but that was the beginning of my fabric design career. In 2008, I started painting again, but my style was bright, funky, fun, mixed media, not realistic at all. I just felt like I was playing when I was doing painting. I decided to have some of my paintings scanned and printed digitally on fabric myself. I took those fabric samples to Quilt Market with the hopes of finding a company that would print my paintings. I met with Debbie Stark, the art director from FreeSpirit, showed her my samples, and she said, "Oh my goodness, you're FreeSpirit." And we figured out a contract, and I've been with them ever since.
So as Sue explained, many of her fabric designs start as paintings, which are then digitally printed onto fabric. And we're excited to have 2 of Sue's original paintings to show you today. So Sue begins by painting a background onto canvas. She then uses a variety of techniques to add layers to the painting: stencils, collaged papers, and more. So the pictures you're seeing on screen are just some of the painted papers that Sue has made to cut apart and collage onto the paintings. This colorful painting is called Posies, and it became part of her Garden Delight line, which shipped to stores in April of this year. It features Sue's hand-painted papers, which are collaged onto that painted background. We'll let Sue tell us more about that line.
Hi, my name is Sue Penn, and I'm a FreeSpirit designer. I'm here to show you my new collection for spring, Garden Delight. There are 9 SKUs, and I can't wait to see what you make with it. This is the main painting and pattern for the line. It's called Garden, and it's full of collaged papers and bright colors.
had the background scanned of the main painting before I put the flowers on, and I created the patterns called Pasture and Lawn. The berries were photoshopped from the main painting and put on a purple ground. This line needed a purple. I created this pattern as an all-over to complement the large garden pattern. Circle Story was so much fun to paint, and I love the black ground. The last 3 patterns were created during an art challenge in 2021 called Art Spark. The goal was to create 20 paintings in 20 days. These are 3 of those paintings. Included are Flower Burst, Bliss, and Meadow. On the FreeSpirit website, you can find these 2 free quilt downloads. Garden View is 48 by 56, and Symphony of Squares is 61 by 74.
I really loved seeing all those fabrics and can't wait to show you some of the models that we made out of those fabrics. This painting is called Butterfly Plaid, and it's part of her new line that's going to be released to stores this month. It's called Butterfly Fields. Here's Sue to tell us more about this new line.
Hi, my name's Sue Penn, and I'm a FreeSpirit designer. I'm here to show you my newest collection, Butterfly Fields, for October of 2024. The main pattern in the line is also called Butterfly Fields. If you notice on the painting, the butterflies are actually a solid black. On the fabric, I used Photoshop to fill in the black areas with another pattern called Fireworks to make it more interesting. This pattern is called Butterfly Plaid. First I painted the plaid background, and then I used a stencil to paint the transparent butterflies on top. Color Burst is the name of the next pattern. First I painted the background, and then I used a stencil that I designed to paint layer upon layer of the circular dotted motif. Rainbow is the name of this multicolored bright pattern. It makes a fabulous binding. It would also make a great kaleidoscope type quilt. If you recognize this pattern called Fireworks, it's because it was originally part of one of my previous lines, Light in the Forest. It was such a popular fabric that I changed the color slightly and adjusted the scale and put it in this line too. I hand paint my own papers for collaging, and the next 4 patterns were designed from some of those papers. I used the papers in other paintings, and I only have a few scraps left. In this picture, you can see scraps of the papers right next to the fabric. Here we have honeycomb. This one is called flowery. And the final pattern based on one of my papers is named Spotty. There are 2 free projects on the FreeSpirit website. The first is called Butterfly Garden and the second one is Olive Flutter.
I hope you enjoyed learning a bit more about Sue and how she designs her fabrics. I have to say it gave me a real new appreciation for her bright and colorful designs. We have had a lot of fun sewing with Sue's fabrics over the years, so I thought we'd just take a little trip down memory lane and show you a few of the items that we've made with them. So the first of Sue's lines that we worked with was called Light in the Forest, which was in stores in July 2020. At that time, we just fell in love with her colorful fabrics and designs. So much so that Light in the Forest became the cover model for our pattern Ultimate Travel Bag. So this is the Ultimate Travel Bag that we made using the beautiful blue with all the leaves made with the collaged papers on it. And I just love how that turned out. We had enough leftovers of this that I was able to make 2 more smaller projects, both of which actually grace my sewing room at home. So we didn't have enough to make a full set of models, but I was able to make a machine cover using our undercover pattern for my personal Bernina that I sew on. And we had to kind of get creative using other fabrics because we didn't have enough. I don't know if you can see this, but we even had to piece a piece of fabric for the lining to have a piece big enough to make that. But the way this pattern is designed, it's hidden underneath, so it really didn't matter. And that was actually something from a previous line, I believe. But it makes just a really bright, cheery machine cover that I love using in my sewing room. And then I had just enough to make a small clam up, which I used to hold my Wonder Clips. So that was Light in the Forest. So the following year, Pizzazz hit stores, and we made several models, including A Place for Everything, a Tools of the Trade set, and a Power Trip. Unfortunately, all of those are out at trunk shows, so Jake's putting pictures up on the screen. But I did have enough left to make this In Control, and that sits right next to my sewing machine at home, next to my machine cover and clam up that I made. So I love the fact that all of Sue's fabrics really blend well from line to line, and so you can mix and match and share them. So this is my In Control that I put all my scissors and tools in that I need next to my machine. All right, in fall of 2021, Flourish was released, and we used it to make a whole set of travel bags. So in addition to a travel essentials set that, again, is out at a trunk show, we also made several. So I'm going to have to find them back here on the wall. So the first one we started with was Get Out of Town. Shar, you need to go back a little bit because I can't remember what else in that list. So Get Out of Town, and we used an all-over flower print for that and some solid handles to go with it. Makes just a really fun bag for taking to sleepovers at grandma or just weekend trips. And this is, again, called Get Out of Town. And then we made a larger travel bag called Travel Duffel that also goes with that. And we used the black circles for that and a blue for the handles. This one's great because you've got lots of pockets all the way around the outside, a trolley sleeve on the back so you can hook it over your rolling luggage. This is our biggest travel bag, our biggest duffel, and it holds a lot. It's sized too big to fit under a seat, but it does fit in the overhead bin in most planes. Always check the requirements before you travel to make sure. I have found that if it's not stuffed to the gills, usually you can, mash it down and it will fit in pretty tight places. The other one that we made that I especially love is our Going Places garment bag. And for this one, we used the beautiful panel that Sue included as part of that line. So it had flowers, goes up into a sky, and we quilted that full piece and then fussy cut it to center the flowers in the sky on the front. And then on the back, we used what was left to make the bottom pocket. And then you can see there's a window on the back so you can see through the lining, or see through to see what's inside. You can see that we used the same black circles as the lining on that piece. So I'm guessing that that travel bag probably has this same fabric on the outside of it, because a lot of times what we'll do is we'll quilt a big piece and we'll use one side out for one project, the other side out for the other. So this again is called Going Places, and it's a really great way to carry clothes if you want to carry things for a trip. It folds in half when you're done. There's a little tab that you can hook your hanger through, and it makes it easy to, hang it in the car or carry it through the airport. So that is Going Places. And then the last one that we made with that line is called Night and Day. So this one is really fun. Again, we used the black circles for the purse. We used a more plain one for the border on that. And then for the tote bag, we used that beautiful floral print again. And I love how the way the colors grade, one side is kind of blue, the other side's totally different. So you've really got a multicolor purse there. And then this is a reversible tote. So we used the same fabric that we used for the border there to make the lining. So if you want a totally different look, I think this one would be perfect to wear, with jeans. Here you've got a very different look for your bag. And there's on the lining side, there's a little welt pocket. This is just a great little bag to carry for shopping, and you can even take the purse and fit it inside. So you can go in the store with one purse, and as you buy stuff, take this out, carry it over your shoulder, and use this to carry all your purchases. So that again is Night and Day. Put those back. All right. 2 lines, Up and Away and Textures, shipped to stores in April of 2022. And at that point, we were busy working on updating some of our baby patterns, and we decided Up and Away was perfect for those. So the first one that we did was Backseat Babysitter, and this is designed to go in the car to keep everything, kids occupied and everything contained, and keep the car clutter-free. So this one, we used the hot air balloons. We put them on the back and made it so that you saw the lining side through the window, and then used the main fabric side for the pockets. And then we used a green as a coordinate from that, and that is just really fun and bright and cheery. So that is our pattern, Backseat Babysitter, made again with Up and Away, and the green is from the Textures line. And then we also did our changing station, which is here. I believe this is the one that we used for the add-on video for this project. And we wanted to show that even though it's a directional fabric, you really don't notice it on the front because the pocket covers it, so you don't have to really make any changes. We positioned it so that the balloons were upright on the back, and then on the pocket made them upright on the front. And again, I love how that colorful checkerboard looks for the inside of the changing pad. Any little baby's gonna love getting their diaper changed when they have something so bright and colorful to lay on. So again, that's changing station. And then we also made a set of Night and Day using this line. And that, I believe, is this set. Hopefully I don't have these mixed up. But this one has, again, beautiful flowers in it, and great for carrying your yarns, and a real pretty multi-stripe, all kinds of different colors in there for the purse. All right, in April of this year, Garden Delight hit the stores, and we used it to make models of 2 soon-to-be-released patterns. So one of them is our Ditty Bags 2.0 pattern. This is going to release in late October, so it's not available yet, but watch for it coming soon. And this pattern includes just little zippered pouches in 3 sizes, so it's great for showing lots of fabrics in a line. Oftentimes what we'll do is we'll quilt 2 fabrics together, as we did here. We did this on the lining, this on the outside, and then we just flip them around and do them the opposite for one of the bags, so we don't have to quilt nearly as many pieces. So that has 3 sizes. These are perfect for tech gear, toiletries, makeup, all kinds of things. Those are called Ditty Bags. And then we also updated our Out to Lunch pattern. And I think this is the right one. Or is this the right one? These might both be made out of that same line. I'm going to show them both right now. One might be Butterfly Fields. I have to admit I've kind of lost track of which is which. But our original Out to Lunch pattern had just 1 size in it to make a little lunch bag or small purse. When we thought about updating this, Glow needed a lunch bag and this wasn't nearly big enough. So we decided to do a larger version. We'll be telling you all about these in November, so watch for that coming soon. But this shows you how we used the fabrics for that. So we used the really colorful spots and circles for this, which is the lining on this one. On the other side of it, we put this more muted blue and green one, which I love, and that becomes the exterior on that one. So you open it up and get a fun surprise. But as you can see, you can put all the makings for a very hearty lunch inside that bag. And again, watch for more information coming about these in November. So that's one version of Out to Lunch that we made. And then here's another one, again made with the really beauty of Out to Lunch is that the zippers go all the way down on the sides, and you can really easily access everything that's inside. So again, we did one fabric on the lining, the other on the main, and then we just switched them around for the 2 bags to get 2 different looks. So again, Out to Lunch 2.0 coming soon. All right, and finally, we have some fun models to share using Sue's Butterfly Fields line, which hits stores this month. We really loved the large butterflies and the big panel, and we use them for some great projects. One of them that I especially like is the ruler wrap that's hanging behind me, and that's the small one, and then we also used it for the large one. So for this one, we used the fireworks print that she said is kind of a repeat from another line as the exterior, but for the interior, we fussy cut the big butterfly panel to create just a really interesting interior for this ruler wrap. So we ended up having to join 2 panels to get a piece long enough to make this whole ruler wrap. So we used the lighter part, transitioning into the darker part, and then we flipped the other panel around and added that at the bottom. We knew that the pockets would kind of close or hide the places where those were joined and make them not so noticeable, and so then the lighter part of that is down there. But that really made an interesting interior, and a lot of times people will use ruler wrap just to display and store their rulers at home. So this is a really beautiful way to make something hanging in your sewing room that adds a decorative element as well as being useful. So again, this is our ruler wrap, the large one, and then the small one hanging behind me. The beauty of this is that it all folds up, so if you want to carry it to class, you've got a much smaller bag to carry everything and protect all the edges of all your rulers. The other one that we did that is one of my real favorites, this is again a new pattern that will release later this month called Courtside, and we designed this at the request of people who wanted a bag to carry pickleball rackets or tennis rackets. So there's a front pocket that zips open. You can put your rackets in there and then zip it closed. I've been using this bag when I travel. My laptop fits perfectly in the inside pocket. And again, we're going to tell you all about this starting in November. But what I loved was using that beautiful butterfly on the front pocket and also on the back pocket. So this is made to be carried either by hand or as a backpack. And we also added a trolley sleeve on the back. And I just have to brag about myself a little bit about the good job that I did fussy cutting this piece of fabric to keep that butterfly all aligned on the back. So it was a little bit of a challenge. I am going to talk about fussy cutting because we ended up doing that on a lot of pieces. Another alternative, if you don't have a beautiful fabric like that, is to use one fabric for the pocket and a different pocket for the trolley sleeve so you don't have to worry about making matching designs. And we'll show lots of options when we introduce Courtside to you in early November. So again, this is Courtside featuring butterfly fields, and one last pattern that also is part of butterfly fields, and we really loved the look of this. So this is one fabric that gradates through kind of the rainbow. So we fussy cut the blue and green section to do the outside of this bag and the red and pink and orange section for this bag. This is a new pattern that again will come out in October, later this month. It's already October, I realize, but later this month, and this is called Payday, a great little wallet with lots of pockets for carrying everything. It's got straps so you can either carry it as a clutch or put it in a bag, or you can attach a handle to it and carry it over your shoulder. So that one, I think we did, we did the print that matches the painting that Sue sent us for the lining on this one. So bright and cheery, lots of fun to see the inside, and they close with magnets, so really simple and easy. All right, it looks like we have just a few questions before we move on. Do you usually crosshatch for the quilting using 1-inch squares? I have to say we actually send most of the fabric that we use for the projects we make to a long arm quilter and let her choose designs. If I am doing my own quilting, I love to do cross hatching because I think it's a little more interesting than just straight up and down lines. And I'll usually do 1 to 1.5 inch apart on my squares. What I'll do is I'll mark the lines going one way, I'll kind of do one that goes down the middle, and then I'll do either side of that until I get all the way across, and then I'll mark the line on the going the other direction and quilt those. So hopefully that answers that question. I had a couple of questions for Sue, and I know that Sue is answering questions in the chat. So Sue, I hope that you will maybe put some notes in there. I loved seeing that your grandmother paid for 6 years of art classes with you, and I have to say when I looked at these, I thought this would be a really fun project to do with my grandson, who is 8 and quite a talented little artist already. And I thought it would be really fun to make some type of a painting that he could give Mom and Dad for Christmas. So I'm curious to know what kind of paint you use and also what type of paper you use for the collages. Is it like watercolor paper that starts out white, or do you start with colored papers and then add things to it? So if you could maybe add some notes in there about that, I'd be really appreciated. If we missed Sue and she's not able to do that, we will I'll email you separately, and then I'll try and share that information on next week's live. Looks like Randy might be adding one more note. Maybe not. All right. So I hope you all enjoyed learning more about Sue and her design process and seeing some of the models that we've made using her beautiful fabrics. As always, please ask for these fabrics, patterns, and supplies at your local quilt shop. These shops are such an important part of our sewing and quilting community, and it is up to all of us to keep them really strong and vibrant. Remember, if they don't have these products, they can certainly get them. Fabrics from FreeSpirit Fabrics, and everything else either from their favorite distributor or from us. We're happy to set up wholesale accounts for qualified stores, so just ask them to contact us for more information. All right, one more drink and then I'm going to have some announcements. So we have got lots to talk about today. So first of all, we want to remind you that we are going to be in Houston at the end of October for both International Quilt Market and Quilt Festival. So if you're a store, come see us at Market. If you're a retail customer, come see us at Festival. For both shows, you will find us in booth 1003, and we will have lots of patterns, including the 3 new and 2 updated patterns, and lots of beautiful models sewn with all the latest fabrics and supplies like soft and stable, zippers, mesh, fold-over elastic, hardware, strapping, and more. We really can't wait to see you there, so come see us. Also, I want to remind you that I will be teaching in Norway in November. The event is called So Much Fun with Catherine's Quiltstue, and it will be held at a lovely family-owned hotel near Oslo from November 16th through 19th. I'm going to be teaching 4 classes and presenting a lecture, so if you'd like more information about that, we'll put up a link to the event and you can just contact Catherine and her team there for more details. Also, if you've watched very many recent episodes of Live with Annie, you have probably met Randy Jones. So Randy moderates the chats and answers and posts questions. She also helps us with blogs and answering emails throughout the week. So send Randy some hearts and thumbs up to help me say thank you to her, because we really appreciate everything that you do, Randy. So I got to know Randy through the ByAnnie Bag Makers group on Facebook. And if you aren't already a member of that group, you need to check it out. Randy is a young mother. She lives in New Jersey, and about 2.5 years ago, she decided to start a private group on Facebook so that she could connect with other ByAnnie fans. She tells me that she thought she'd get maybe 40 or 50 members. Well, when I last checked, the group had almost 40,000 members in countries around the world. So good job, Randy. And it is a happy, kind, talented group, and I am always blown away by the projects and ideas that they share. And because there are members around the world, there is pretty much always someone on there to answer questions, share their knowledge, or rave about your latest ByAnnie project. To become a member of the group, you need to apply, but it's a really simple process that just involves answering a question or 2, and Randy is really quick at approving members, so check it out. One special note is the group is not associated with ByAnnie.com at all, but I am a member, and I highly recommend them. So in addition to keeping the ByAnnie Bag Makers group running smoothly, Randy also films tutorials and hosts regular sew-alongs for ByAnnie projects. She calls these slow-alongs because she spreads them out over several weeks. The slow-paced schedule really lets you work on the project while still carrying on with life and other projects without the stress of keeping up. So it's great for beginners, makers who only get sewing time in the evening or on weekends, and those who just prefer a more relaxed pace. So Randy focuses on helping you enjoy the process and giving yourself the chance to learn the techniques so you enjoy your future projects more. Randy's next slow along will be for our popular pattern, Running with Scissors. And I meant to grab one, but I forgot to do that. So this pattern makes a handy zip-up tool case that can be used to store and carry a variety of tools, from rotary cutters and scissors to markers, turning tools, small rulers, and more. We're going to show you pictures in a minute. It has a variety of easy-to-access pockets in vinyl mesh and quilted fabric, and those can be customized to fit the tools that you use and love. So registration for Randy's Running with Scissors Slow Along is now open, and you can get all the details at her website, and we'll put up the link to get you there. You can register only until Friday the 13th, so Friday, October 13th. So be sure to get to Randy's website to sign up soon. The Slow Along itself will start on October 21st, and it will run for 8 weeks. During that time, Randy will provide tutorials for each step of the project. She'll also be available to answer questions and provide tips and tricks. Again, note that the Slow Along is completely Randy's baby, so it's not affiliated with ByAnnie at all. But if you've ever wanted to make Running with Scissors, this is a really great opportunity to do it with some additional help and support. And if having a Running with Scissors is one of your goals, Randy's Slow Along is great. But here's another way you can get one of those wonderful organizers and support a good cause at the same time. So Randy made a gorgeous all pink running with scissors, which she will be auctioning off to raise funds for the American Breast Cancer Foundation. The case is made using Tula Pink's homemade fabrics for FreeSpirit Fabrics, and it's also embellished with Tula's homemade ribbons from Renaissance Ribbons. Randy did a masterful job of fussy cutting the fabrics for the case, and her quilting really sets it off. It's really an amazing set. So Randy has a separate page on her website for the auction, which will open on October 20th. So be sure to check that out too. And Randy timed her auction to perfectly coincide with Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And though we're not doing our usual Sew Pink campaign this year, we want to remind you of the importance of early detection. 1 in 8 women and 1 in 833 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. Early detection saves lives, so we encourage you to be aware of the risks and to perform regular breast exams, including mammograms. They are the most effective form of screening and can identify cancer several years before any physical symptoms develop. So if you're overdue on your yearly mammo, please check with your doctor and schedule an appointment today. All right, let's move on now to our featured local quilt shop of the week. At ByAnnie, we love supporting local quilt shops, and one of our favorite events each year is the Local Quilt Shop Contest, which we celebrate in February. During the contest, we encourage sewists to vote for their favorite quilt shop and share a little bit about what makes them special. And to continue the fun and support of local businesses, each week we highlight a store and some of their voter submissions during Live with Annie. Before I start on all those, I'm going to have a big drink. So we're going to start this week in San Diego, California at Rosie's Calico Cupboard, who is this year's regional winner for California. Owners Rosie and Vic Gonzalez both love helping others, and their passions are cooking, quilting, their shop, and charity work. Rosie started out as a crafter in the 1980s, and Vic helped her out whenever she needed him. They started Rosie's by selling fabric at swap meets on Saturdays. When they had too much fabric to transport, it was moved into their garage. They continued to sell fabric on Saturdays, and when they outgrew the garage, they moved into their current building with 1,400 bolts of fabric and 800 square feet. In July, Rosie's celebrated 33 years in business, and the store has now grown to a total of 8,000 square feet. It's filled to the brim with over 16,000 bolts of cotton fabric from every major manufacturer in the U.S. They stock everything a quilter could wish for, including Janome sewing machines, fabrics, notions, and more. We featured Rosie's Calico Cupboard. Boy, my mouth is falling all over that. I think I need one more drink. Gone through that first bottle. Let's start the second one. All right, so we featured Rosie's on the LQS blog in April of 2023. So be sure to check that out to learn more about the store and its wonderful staff. Customers who voted for Rosie's in this year's contest raved about the store's selection, staff, classes, and charitable works. Lori wrote, "They have every fabric your heart could desire, and at prices that make quilting an affordable and enjoyable hobby too. Beyond that, the staff is friendly, helpful, and so welcoming. I don't miss a chance to shop there." And Emma Patricia added, "The moment you walk in, you are greeted. It's as though you walked into your bestie's sewing studio. Let me say, a very well-stocked studio. It's always a very productive visit with many lovelies to bring home and create." And Nini said, "The classes taught here are informative, and they teach to all levels of quilters. They make quilts for kids with cancer, active duty military servicemen and their wives who have babies, military service members who have been wounded, and women fighting cancer. Their classroom is always full, either with service groups or it's rented out to friends who get together and quilt for a day together. Rosie and her husband Vic go out of their way to help and make everyone happy." When asked about the impact of the LQS contest on the store, Rosie wrote, "Because of the contest, we have had customers come in who had no idea we were even here, even after 33 years. Many of them are coming from out of town and out of state. Thank you. I loved hearing that and enjoyed learning more about Rosie's Calico Cupboard. I have visited with Rosie at shows for many years, and I hope that I'll be able to visit her store in person one of these days because it sounds amazing. All right, next we're traveling to Clanton, Alabama to visit So Charming Quilt Shop, the regional winner for Alabama in this year's LQS contest. Owners Penny Smith and Emily Hand are a mother-daughter duo. They wrote, "We have a blast running our quilt shop. We are quilt enthusiasts and love having the chance to meet new people every day. We hold classes to teach others the art of quilting in hopes that others will get as interested in quilting as we are. It is truly a joy to get to go to work each day and do what you enjoy." We opened the store April 1st, 2014 and have not looked back since. We have grown and moved to larger locations 3 times until we bought the building we are in now. We have thousands of bolts of 100% cotton fabrics and sell sewing machines, long arms, notions, pre-cuts, and much more. If we don't have what you are looking for, we will do our best to find it for you. We offer embroidery and also sell embroidery blanks to others who do their own. We make t-shirt quilts for the public and offer quilting services too. We have a 3,000 square foot standalone building in the heart of downtown Clanton, Alabama, which is in central Alabama off I-65. We get a lot of traffic from people traveling through Alabama to and from the beach. We are also included in the Alabama Barn Quilt Trail, so look us up on the map. People have fun traveling around to see all the quilt squares on the trail. That sounds like a lot of fun. Our store has a hometown feel and we enjoy connecting with our customers. We're a laid-back shop who welcomes questions. We are here for anyone who wishes to learn to quilt. Customers who voted for So Charming Quilt Shop in this year's contest consistently praised the store's owners. Kelly wrote, the owners are so helpful and so easy to talk to. It is evident that they love what they do. They have a great selection of fabrics, patterns, and notions. I love it. We had a discussion about caring for our parents and how we sometimes are the only one. She really encouraged me through her experience, and it really meant a lot to me. Another drink. So Dessa added, when I was new to the area, I went into the shop and was made to feel like I belonged. The owner stood and talked to me for a long time. I was thrilled and knew that I had found my new quilting store. And Heather shared, the staff is so kind and always helpful. Their talent is unmatched and they have such a love for what they do. They have made many special quilts for family and friends and provided a lot of precious gifts for events I have attended. When asked about the impact of the contest on their store, Penny and Emily said, we have had numerous people contact us congratulating us, as well as people coming into the store who didn't know we were here. It has made a huge impact on our business. We are thrilled to represent the state of Alabama. We love ByAnnie products, and so do our customers. So Charming Quilt Shop will have their ByAnnie trunk show on display from October 2nd to November 2nd, so be sure to stop in and check it out and tell them Annie sent you. All right, next we're going to head north to Salem, New Hampshire to visit Angel's Sewing and Quilting, the regional winner for New Hampshire in this year's contest. A full-service sewing and quilting store, Angel's Sewing and Quilting was also named a 2021 Best of New Hampshire shop by New Hampshire Magazine. Shop owner Carol Lawrence loves her Juki sewing machines and bag making, and Tula Pink is her favorite fabric designer. She wrote, our hallmark is our friendly and dedicated customer service that helps us establish ongoing relationships with our customers, many of whom become friends. This supports idea sharing and learning in a casual, no-pressure atmosphere. We offer a wealth of creative classes and special events that feature the expertise of our in-house sewists, along with nationally recognized industry stars. Ultimately, our goal at Angel's Sewing and Quilting is to learn, grow, and enjoy the creative art of sewing and quilting along with our customers. Visit us in person and follow us on social media to join us on this wonderful journey. The store offers Baby Lock, Brother, and Juki sewing, quilting, and embroidery and serger machines, parts, and repair services. Interested buyers are encouraged to try our products first to ensure they are the exact fit for their preferences and needs. Customers receive 6 free sewing lessons with the purchase of a machine. Angel Sewing and Quilting also provides designs, threads, stabilizers, and software for home embroidery enthusiasts and commercial embroiderers. Commercial accounts offering competitive pricing are also available. It's good to know. Customers who voted for Angel Sewing and Quilting in this year's contest raved about the store's customer service and selection. Donna wrote, "The owner and staff are always pleasant and supportive. The shop has lots of classes and lessons to help customers grow their sewing and quilting skills. There are times to just meet, sew, and share projects and ideas. In addition, the shop has lots of beautiful fabric and supplies for projects and designs. They have a wide variety of sewing machines, sergers, quilting long arms, and more. Whenever I visit, I am always welcomed and given whatever support I need. Angel Sewing also has lots of sales and discounts and incentives for future purchases. They are open 7 days a week, making it convenient for customers." And Susan added, "The training classes after I bought my machines were excellent. I learned not only how to use my new machines, but many helpful techniques. The teacher was terrific." And Charlene summed it up saying, "They truly believe in treating every customer as someone special. The owner and staff will do everything they can for each customer. It is always fun and a wonderful shopping experience. We all feel like one big happy family." Angel Sewing and Quilting is participating in the All New England Shop Hop, which runs through the end of October, and they will have their ByAnnie trunk show throughout the month of October. They'll also have their annual sewing retreat in April of 2024. That sounds like really great fun, so visit their website to learn more. One more drink before our last store. All right, so we're going to end today at Flash Sew and Quilt in Naples, Florida. Owners Bridget and Mike Sullivan tell us that Bridget has been sewing her entire life and has always wanted a shop of her own. So when Mike retired, she thought it was the perfect time. So 3 years ago, Bridget and Mike bought Flash Sew and Quilt from the original owners who were looking to close their shops in Naples and Fort Myers. Bridget and Mike took over the Naples store and moved it to a brand new location. They tell us, "We think we have created a destination location for anyone passionate about sewing. We have an extensive selection of colorful fabrics and notions. Our calendar is filled with workshops and classes to fit all interests, and our large classroom space allows for every participant to have their own table with enough room to spread out." That's awesome. "We sell Baby Lock and Bernina brands of machines and display the full line for customers to come and test drive. We are building a community of like-minded people and creating a space for gathering, sharing ideas, learning, and most of all, having a good time. The store stocks quilters cotton, flannel, rayon, batik, and canvas fabrics, as well as ByAnnie patterns, zippers, and soft and stable. We also offer long arm quilting services, and we clean and service machines." Customers who voted for Flash Sew and Quilt in this year's contest praised the store's atmosphere, staff, selection, and more. Christine said, "They have truly turned their store into a destination. Their staff is amazing and knowledgeable. They have it all in this fabulous quilter's dream come true shop." And Kyle agreed, saying, "They have it all. Fabric galore, accessories, classes, demos, Baby Lock and Bernina machines, and wonderful, knowledgeable people. Walk in and you are in quilt store heaven." And Jan added, "The store is beautifully laid out with amazing fabrics and accessories. They are constantly offering classes and creating beautiful quilts and many interesting projects. Great selection of sewing machines and very competitive prices." When asked about the impact of the contest on their store, Flash Sew and Quilt said, "It brought a lot of attention to our store. Customers getting involved really made us feel wonderful and that we are on the right track. It warmed our hearts for sure. It's a proud moment when the loyalty of customers is felt and heard. It's also wonderful to hear from people who just stopped in to see the place because they heard about us and they loved the store. So Flash Sew and Quilt will have a ByAnnie trunk show on display throughout the month of October. And they are taking it to the Sew Creative Expo in Punta Gorda, Florida, where they're vending from October 2nd to 4th. So today's the last day. Then we're sending them a second ByAnnie trunk show in time for a special event that they have with Kafe Fassett, who will be in the store from November 1st to the 3rd. So tickets are available to his Quilts by the Sea lecture and book signing on November 1st. The price is $99, and attendees will get a copy of his new book, which Kafe will sign following his lecture. Kafe is also holding 2 workshops at the shop on November 2nd and 3rd. Both of those are currently full, but the store is taking names for a wait list. So be sure to visit the Flash Sew and Quilt website for more details about all of those. And tell them hi from all of us here at ByAnnie. All right, thank you again to everyone who joined us today. We are going to be back next Wednesday at 2 p.m. with a really interesting episode of Live with Annie. We will be joined by our friends from Dandelion Fabric and Company to talk about how they came up with the idea to start a boutique textile company and then implement it. Along the way, they will share some of the ins and outs of the fabric design, printing, and distribution process. You won't want to miss it, so be sure to join us. And until then, happy stitching!